Hello, everyone. My name is Francisco Tapanacaro from the team 10 o'clock Ravens, and today I'm going to showcase and demonstrate the work that I have done for this sprint in game balancing 2. Let's go ahead and open up the file and see the revision number 811155. All right, so once the menu pops up, we're going to go to level select and chaotic caverns level we're going to play. All right. So the very first issue that I worked on is issue KR10-123, which is update coins. And the user story reads as follows: as an object, I want to be collected by the player so that they may use me as in-game currency to upgrade their abilities. All right, and the very first completion criteria for this issue is going to be that the player can collect a coin. So if we see the trail of coins up ahead, we can go ahead and collect one. And as we can see, the tally for the coins in the up left corner changes. So that is the very first completion criteria out of the way, is that it can be collected by the player, so that can be put to the side. Very well. The next one is that a unique sound plays to notify that a coin has been collected. So if you go ahead and take a listen, you can hear that little coin flip noise. That works as a notification to the player that they have just collected a coin. It works as feedback to the player, letting them know, hey, you just collected a coin. We had a little Super Mario kind of noise before, but we wanted to make our game a little more unique and use our own type of noise. So it's more like a coin flip noise now to, like I said, differentiate our game from Mario. So let's go ahead and invite this AI and get him out of the way so he doesn't bother us for our next completion criteria. So the very next completion criteria for this is that the enemies cannot collect coins in case of colliding with them. So right here we have an enemy that is wandering around. All right, so he can chase us. As we can see, if they collide with the coin, they don't collect the coin for the player. Before we had an issue where if enemies somehow walked by the coin, they would collect it for the player, and that is no longer the case. So can be marked as complete. This issue can be marked as done. So we can move next um, to the next uh, issue that I worked on. But for that, first we're going to have to go through this little platforming puzzle. Um, need as many coins as I possibly can. All right, so here. Oh, that's not good. Now I gotta go all the way back to the beginning. All right. I made that. Oh no, not again. This is probably gonna take a little while. No, I believe I can't make that jump. Such a noob maneuver. All right, let's keep going. All right, there we go. We made it. We need to grab that last coin. All right, we grabbed that last coin. To the next area. And keep moving on. We need as many coins as possible in order to uh, to showcase the next issue that I worked on. So we're gonna come here, So I try to collect as many as possible. All right. 15 coins, we might have enough to be able to show the next completion criteria. Get him out of the way. All right. All right. We made it here. Collect some more coins. Now we come to the merchant, and we're going to grab the flamethrower ability because that's what we need to show off. Now all that's left to do is get the fire ability from one of the enemies. So I'm going to go ahead and do the kamikaze jump, and we land in the water safely. All right, go ahead again. Grab some more coins. Grab as many coins as possible. All right, going to fire ability. All right. Oops, we died, so we're going to continue from the checkpoint. Try to get rid of this fire enemy. I have to show the issue that I worked on. So now, if we come over here, the next issue that I worked on is going to be issue number KR 10-125, which is actually fix the fire animation. The user story is as follows. As the player, I want to have a fluid animation with no disturbances that the flamethrower ability works as intended. And the first completion criteria is that the flamethrower animation starts up upon ability button press and hold. So if I go ahead and switch and I press the flamethrower ability, upon pressing and holding, the flame ability appears. Um, and it's fluid. So if I press and hold, animation starts up, and the ability starts up upon the animation completing. So I press it, animation complete, fire. I press it, animation complete, and fire. All right, so that's the very first completion criteria done and out of the way. And so yeah, the flamethrower appears upon animation completion. The flamethrower animation starts up upon ability button press and hold. And then the next one is flamethrower animation ends when ability button is released. So if I go ahead and I press it and then I release it, it stops the animation. So that way, even if I start off now and let go, it stops. Or if I start up and let go, it stops regardlessly. All right. And then the last completion criteria for this issue is that the flamethrower disappears when the end animation starts. So we see when the ending animation starts, the flamethrower disappears and the animation is then finished. So go ahead, start it, let it go, and you see that it disappears before the ending animation starts. So it works very fluidly. Before we had this bug where if I did this and let go, the flame would still appear, because it wasn't allowing the animations to flow freely, and the delays weren't working correctly. So it would just stay stuck. And we had a flamethrower constantly in front of the player, and it would just it wouldn't disappear anymore. Um, but right now, with this, we're able to uh, have the flamethrower work as intended. So that is that completion criteria out of the way, and that is finished. So this this issue can be successfully marked done. And then the very last issue that I worked on for this sprint is to update the NPC, issue KR 10-127. And the issue, the user story reads as follows: as a character, I want to be fully optimized to relay information to the player so that they can progress through the level. The completion criteria is that the player should not be able to move during dialogue, and that the NPC rotates to face the player when they enter its collision area. So if we go ahead and we see that there's an NPC up ahead, so we do that, we can see that it rotates to face the player now. So that way, it doesn't matter what side, what angle the player comes at it, the NPC is always going to be facing the player, and that way, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter what side you approach the NPC from. You can even approach him from behind, whatever, and it's always going to follow the player. Lastly, is to the player should not be able to move during the dialogue. So we go ahead and start the dialogue with the NPC. Like, I cannot believe the shopkeeper would put this door up to keep me out from the other side. All right, but while he's talking, I'm actually pressing the movement buttons, the jump buttons, the attack buttons, and nothing is actually working. Before it had a bug where if the player was stuck in conversation with the NPC, he would still be able to move or attack or anything. But now I made it so that the NPC, if you're in dialogue with the NPC, you cannot move. The only action that you can do is press the F button to continue the dialogue. So the next thing is he knows that I cannot light the torches to open the door. All right. He also put a password too, and I can bet you that it's his name. All right. So it's his name. That's the clue. The shopkeeper's name. YAN. Let's go ahead and talk to the shopkeeper. His name is Ryan. So, what happened? All right, Ryan. So here we have N A Y. Need to find R. So R is already lit. So we already have our first one. So R Y. Nope. So it's R Y A and N. But before we complete the level, we can assure that when the player speaks to the NPC now, like I said, there's no movement, there's no action that the player can do. He cannot jump, move, he cannot attack. So that's the only things that he can do is press the F button to continue the dialogue. So that is that completion criteria out of the way, and that is the last issue that I worked on, and this issue can successfully be marked as done. So I'm just going to quickly finish the level. Thank you very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed the work that I created this month, and I will now pass it on to my next teammate. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Olivetti, and this is my issues for the final sprint and game balancing. grappling hook update was one of the first things that I did. And that was, as a grappling hook ability, I will have the animations for the ability and start when starting to use the ability and when landing after the hook has been used. I also no longer want to be fired at the targets on screen, so that the player knows the grappling hook has been fired at all times. Changed a little bit on that one. The new animations, though, fire it, you have an animation that goes up, and then when you land, you have a different animation. Same with the landing. So still trying to get it just perfect, but works the right way. Which this also ties into my level subtask that I did, which was helping areas of the second level. And I set up the grappling points that we just did, and helped created some of the obstacles, which with the grappling hooks is part of what I did. Also set up water volumes for the level. Set up grappling points, set up water volumes, helped with building some of the walls, used a ton of rocks. Then I set up the water volume down here. Part of that is no fall damage if you jump into water. Then that leads me to my emerging from water. As a swimming ability, I want to have it be fluid with a third person character, and when the character comes out of the water, I want the player's orientation with the world to be correct and no longer come out at hard angles for the character body. Allows all abilities to work properly. Completion criteria: player can come out of the water at any angle and will readjust to the proper alignment with the ground and not be leaning forwards. And then, as well as, I'll do the A and D keys will no longer do anything when swimming. Doing A and D right now. D, A, it does nothing. And then coming out of the water, player can come out of the water at any angle. Before, if you came out of the water, it would have you leaning forward. Now, the angle you come out of the water at with the camera, it is correct. And then I also have this water bottle here. You can swim anywhere inside this volume. A&D still does nothing. You can come right out of the water, which does help with stilling the abilities. So if I were to go back and swim and come back in, everything is still right. And then for the grappling hooks, I don't have any more. And then for the grappling hooks, the last one, grappling points in our set. Grappling points are now set to be targeted by being the closest to the center of the viewport of the player, and will keep the closest angle to the player when in range, when not in view. So essentially, whichever one you were to pick is the one that, of course, is going to be in the viewport, and then it's closest to the center, and they mark. And then when you look away, it's still the closest one that's angled to the player within range. And that is set up that way in case you fall. You are, fall near a grappling point, you're still able to pull back in to the closest point, depending on how you fall and what angles you're at. And that is everything for what I did with the level. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
Hello, my name is Michael Kresitek, and today I'll be showcasing the Jira task that I've been working on for this sprint. One of the issues that I've been working on is updating the menus in the UI, and one of the completion criteria is gray out the load game if the player does not have anything. So with just opening up the game for the first time, I have no save data. So if I go over the load game, the whole entire thing is grayed out when I hover it, and if I go to anything else, it's got this light green color to it. Another completion criteria that I have for this is that I have added the music slider in the options menu. So if we open up the options menu, we have two sliders now, one for the music and one for the sound effects. So if we change the sound effects to be higher, lower, and then the music for the overall music of every single level. Another completion criteria that I've for this is that I have updated the controls to have the left control key for the dodge roll. So if we open up the controls, we can see over here that the dodge roll is in fact the left control key. And now let's load up the second level itself. I was also in charge for creating the second level as well, and for it, one of the completion criteria for it is that the player starts the level in a small area where they cross over a bridge to get to the caves of a cavern. So if we go over here, we can see the small area that the player spawns, the bridge that they go over, and then the cavern itself, the cave of the cavern. Alright. And another thing that I've also worked on is updating the slide as well. So if we go over here, we'll be needing the wind ability for the power up for the slide. And one of the completion criteria for it is when the player is walking, the slide will go 5 block meshes forward. So as we can see over here is a perfect place to do it. We're walking, we press Q, we only went 5 spaces. Another completion criteria for the slide is when the player is running, the slide will go 7 block mesh forward. So if we go over here and we hold down sprint, we're running, and now we're going to run in the corner, and we made it to 7 spaces. And the final completion criteria for the slide is when the player slides off the ledge, they will not be launched a long distance. So if we go over here, any little thing where there will be a space before hitting the ground, the player will go forward. So going over this bridge from the very top to the bottom would be considered as the ledge. So if we go, we slide, it didn't launch us completely forward. So now let's continue moving on with the game. Kill this enemy, pick up some health, fully regain, and now we go. Another part for the level completion criteria is that the player will be introduced to the rotating platform in a safe environment to get used to it. So as we can see over here, we walk into this little cavern room. So we can see around, there are no enemies or any hazards that are stopping us, the player, for learning how these rotating platforms work. So now let's continue passing forward. Then we'll get to the end. Perfect. Okay, the next completion criteria for the level is that the player will practice with the falling platforms while standing over a falling boulder hazard. So as we can see, the falling boulders are coming down from up top and we gotta cross through them with the falling platforms. In the first level, the player was introduced to these falling platforms in a safer environment, but now we have the rocks that hurt the player if they get hit by it. Now we go to the second part. Hopefully this time I'll make it. And there we go. Made it. So now the next part of the level is that the player will practice grappling hook mechanic by getting up to higher places. So as we can see, we got the grapple points up top and all around us. Okay, and the final thing for updating the UIs and the menus is that while in the game and the player opens the control menu from the pause menu, they cannot click the buttons behind it. So we're going to open up the pause menu, hit controls. All the controls are shown to the player. Then right behind it, the buttons disappear so they won't be able to click it or anything. Now we press exit and resume and continue playing. Now continue swimming. We'll enter to the last part of the room. Finish these bad guys off. Okay, and now the last part of the level completion criteria is that the player will be introduced to the torch door mechanic to solve with clues given by NPC. So as we can see, our way is blocked by this door over here which has a fire symbol. So with this NPC, we can go and interact. Okay, let's see what it's got to say. I cannot believe that the shopkeeper would put this door up to keep me out from the other side. He knows that I cannot light torches to open the door. He also put a password too, and I can bet you that it's his name. So with it, that gave us a lot of information. So we know that these torches have to light stuff up, and the password itself most likely is the shopkeeper's name. So let's head to the shopkeeper and hopefully we get his name. There we go. Ryan's shop. So his name must be Ryan. So now let's find the torches to get Ryan. We got an A. We got a Y. An A. And I'm guessing the last one is an N. I am correct. There we go. Now we can complete the level and get to the end. I would like to thank you for watching this video, and I would like to introduce to you the next presenter for our sprinkle.
Hello, my name is Jackson Plumstead, and I am going to show you what I worked on this week for my issues. So here is the Ultra Boy Odyssey.exe, and this is the number, and I'm going to go ahead and get this start up. Oh, gotta allow access. Alright, let's go ahead and go into the origin. Alright, jump down here. And what I worked on is the enemy predictability, or the not predictability, telegraph its attacks. So I'm gonna get in there real quick. And then wait a minute. I need to get that door open. Stand here. Okay, so this is the Earth enemy, and when you see attacks, what you see spikes pop up. Before they pop, a little thing pops up. That is part of my completion criteria. Let me break my fight with this guy. So he stops chasing me, searches. Then he goes back to his patrol path. So let me read the completion criteria here. Whoops. Let's go here. Go here. And scroll down a little bit. Oh, there we go. I do apologize, my computer's running a little slow. As the enemy, I want to show the player where the attack is coming from before the attack happens with visual effects and sound effects. So as you saw, I added a visual effect to the ground to show the player where the spike is going to pop up, and I added a sound. Every time the spike pops up, a sound happens. There's a delay to the attack that is similar to the delay for the player attack, and that makes the spikes pop up one after another. And I modified the damage a little bit, so it's more effective towards the player, so it hurts a little bit more. It's a higher damage. And I made sure that every time that the spike appears, it will disappear. Boom, 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 there's the delay, boom, boom, boom. And it's still there, so I can still run into it and get damaged. And it works as intended. And that is my task. My video, and the next. Thank you. Day.
Hello, my name is Chen Yang Xu, and today I'll showcase the issue I've been done in the sprint. Let's go into the game right now. So the issue I have mainly is making level 3 the origin, and modify the dodge roll and modify the winged enemy. Let's load up the level for now. So as player has experienced before, they have finished the cave level in level 2. So in level 3 they're starting a cave, and right at the beginning they see opening to a waterfall. So you go here through the waterfall, you can see some structures in the front, and some water, a big lake in front, so they might just jump down to a safe spot, and leading by this coin. There are also other coins and moons in this lake. I just won't waste your time to lead player to let the player to traverse the level a little bit. Yeah, right at the beginning is a hidden bridge and the shooting wall. That's also in the completion criteria to introducing player to those mechanics. Player get the water shield to use the shield to bounce the ball into that, and see this pattern of the hidden wall, the hidden bridge, and remember that. Also a moon to lead them. Here player enter the front yard of the temple, and fight this enemy real quick. Player want to use their water shield again because they've learned that. Open up that door, the torch door. Okay, player enter the main hall of the temple. The main hall. Let's test the winged enemy real quick. We'll change the winged enemy. So right now it will react to player's attack and also have the patrol phase. Until it turns around, charge forward, attack it, it'll start chasing the player. If it lost player, I'll go into a searching phase over that wall. Yeah, do a little bit of searching. Then go back to the patrol point. Sounds good. Kill that real quick. Okay, from here player can see 3 paths also, and the down below room, so they might wonder when to get to downstairs. One on the right hand side is the breakable wall. They have those before, so that's existing features. And another shooting wall, another torch door over here, and the main way, but blocked by a huge block, the pushable block, also the existing feature before. From here, player can use the firewall to open up this both door. You can open up this brick wall first. Oh, huge explosion, and going to evolve. So all the coins exist. And then open up this door. This direct bounce way is blocked by this statue. So I put on a grass and the flag over there to indicate the player can think about how to bounce the ball using standing here, aiming there to do the rebounds. Just like that. It's a little bit challenging of the feature they practiced before. So now they enter a room with the earth enemy and the earth fountain. So they can fight the earth enemy. Kill the earth enemy. Heal up a little bit. And to get earth's ability. So now they can push that block away. And the pushable block in the build become really slow to push. That's an issue we're gonna fix in the future. Open up again enough for the player to enter. Also the shopkeeper to buy upgrades. From here in this courtyard, players affordance is like denied in the front by this breaking bridge and that dark hole. So player jump into the water, which is a safe sign as always, and leading by this coin. They might need to get the water if they don't have, because they need for the next part. Here's the water current. On the water current, player will be pushing downwards, pushing wherever the current is going. Without a water shield, player will be pushing, but with the water shield, player can stand on it. And before the player can dodge roll on it to negate all the pushing, so I disable the dodge roll mechanics on there. So player right now pushing the control won't do anything. So going downstream, player can just fast forward to the bottom. Now player enter the tomb they were seeing from above. So now they can kill this bat real quick. Get the moon going. Get the fire, but they also need the water to walk upwards, otherwise they will be pushing downwards. That's why I put both water and fire in here, so player can get the water, walk up there. So before our game is a fantasy game. Player already see fountains, which will be replaced with shards later, and enemies with different kind of elements. So this level will explain where they come from and how's everything become. So at here, player can use their fireball finally to open up this torch door. From here, there's a little bit transition of the music. Player finally see the big origin, the meteor. I know it's not just a rock, but later on we might change the SS to a more dramatic one. So this meteor should be all the elements, where all the elements come from. It brought all the elements into this world and shatters all its elemental shards around the world. So now we can see some floating rocks around it. They are supposed to be 4 different kind of elements, and we'll find the assets for those elements, particles later. For example, the earth one. The earth one is down below. The winged one, player can see the fire one. We'll find a good water particle for that one as well. That indicates what kind of abilities player need to get on that floating rock. Here's a little wall. Player can now go back up again. Oops, bash you. Get that real quick. And the most close to the ground access point might be this one, and I also put a coin on top of it so player know that is a rock player can get onto. And here's a pushable block, so player can get the earth ability here to push it closer. Bear with me. That should be enough. Yeah. From here, there's another coins up there to lead over that direction. So the fire one. So I see the fire. Okay, how to use the fire? And they see a floating torch over here. They get the torch. Ooh, they see the hidden bridge. Okay. Now they enter the death bridge, which is you can see the water elements. Okay, the water elements up ahead. So they need the water one to think about how to use the water one. Oh, the shield to block the fireball. But if they don't have the shield right now, I also put lake down there so they can jump into the water, not taking any damage. Get down there to get the water, right down here. Oops, that hurts. And so oops. That's bad. Go up real quick. That's a little bit cheating because I know there's some more there. Can you get me back up? From here, player can get the because player already used the pushable blocks. They don't need this anymore, so they can get a water. If they forget the pattern, they can switch up open the bridge, see the bridge again, just to ensure. Over here, but I can finally use it to bounce it. Redirect it. Let's go. Oh shoot. I didn't get the checkpoint, did I? Okay. So let's do that again. Push the block. Get a coin and walk up here. Let's get to here. Carefully walk over these bridge. From here they're practicing their knowledge of the rotating platform. And the moving platform. It's a little bit combination. And from here, the player is going to the winged enemy rock, the wind rock, because from here, player cannot jump over there because there'll be blocking players jumping. Player has to use the wing dashing ability to get on that. So if player don't have that, they might want to go down again to get the wing ability. So this final puzzle is probably it's just a mix matching all the order of getting different kind of abilities, based on players' understanding of the all the elements abilities and how to use them. So eventually the final two players gonna need are the water one and the winged one. Or jump over here. They use their wing dash ability to get on this rock. From here, the players see grappling hook points. I marked those with the leaf, so player can grapple using their grapple ability to get onto the top, which is the final, the landing spot of the top of the meteor. So in the narrative, we're supposed to use all the shards we've been collecting on the meteor to stop its expansion of the elemental plate, something like that, to stop the game. And that's all the level 3, and that's all the mechanics I have to show off. Thanks for watching. That's all 3 level of our game, and I'm looking forward to any suggestions, every recommendation you have. Thank you so much.